righty, thank you so much for tuning in to Last Cup Live right here on News Center Maine Plus. It is Tuesday, the 14th of October.
Yes, as we speak, Governor Janet Mills is officially announcing she will be running for a Senate seat, presumably against Senator Susan Collins.
So in the studio this morning is a host of our Political Brew segment, Phil Hirschkorn, who knows everything politics. Phil, all right, what do we make of this? It's been highly anticipated.
Well, that's right, Lee, and we sort of learned about this on Friday and first told our audience that this would be coming, and just moments ago I checked janetmills.com. Our viewers can go there after this newscast and see it for themselves. It's the announcement by Janet Mills looking to unseat Senator Collins in 2026, the seat that Collins has held for 5 terms. She won it in 1997. But if you watch this video, you'll hear, it certainly sounds this way to me, that Janet Mills is a little less focused on Senator Collins and her record and more on the head of the Republican Party. That's President Donald Trump. Let's listen to something that comes in the video, one of the excerpts that we've chosen, and to give you a flavor of what Janet Mills is saying this morning.
We stood up to Trump and stopped him from cutting the school lunch program for Maine kids. But there are too many politicians in Washington, including Susan Collins.
Susan Collins, we want to thank.
Who've forgotten their principles and let bullies like Trump have their way. And it's hurting Maine people. I've never backed down from a bully, and I never will.
You know, in this video, which runs 2 minutes, you see Janet Mills on camera, filmed in a very nice, bucolic, sort of autumnal location, saying a lot of things. There's a lot of references to her past. That bully line is the advice that her father gave her. She invokes that a few times, the bully implied to be Mr. Trump. And she talks a lot about the firsts in her career. As you know, longtime Mainers know, Janet Mills is not only the first female governor in state history, she was the first female district attorney. When she held that job in Androscoggin County, she was the first attorney general. People might remember she was very combative with Paul LePage, who was then the Republican governor of the state. And people probably remember that just a few years ago in 2022, she defeated LePage handily by 13% to win that second term, winning 50% of the vote, which is the first time a governor's done that in decades in Maine, because often there's 3 candidates or more in the race. So this is going to be a very interesting primary first for Janet Mills. She is going to be on the ballot next June with several other candidates, including Graham Plattner, who's gotten a lot of attention, a 40-year-old newcomer, veteran oyster farmer who's raised $4 million and has been hosting very well-attended town meetings throughout the state. But Plattner, Mills, and other hopefuls all have in common is Susan Collins is the political target, if you will. And again, in her video released just a few moments ago announcing her campaign, here's another excerpt, and only the second three times where Janet Mills mentions Susan Collins by name. Let's take a listen.
Honestly, if this president and this Congress were doing things that were even remotely acceptable, I wouldn't be running for the U.S. Senate. But when Trump rips away health care from millions of Americans and drives up costs on everything from groceries to housing to trucks and cars, then turns around and gives corporate CEOs a massive tax cut, and Susan Collins helps him do it after she helped him overturn Roe v. Wade.
Again, Susan Collins and that Kavanaugh vote, that was a big issue in the 2020 campaign, where she handily beat Sarah Gideon. In fairness to Susan Collins, she's voted for every Supreme Court nominee that's come her way over the years, whether a Democratic president or a Republican president, except for Amy Coney Barrett, who's actually one of the Republican nominees who was in that 6-3 majority in the Dobbs decision overturning Roe v. Wade. Collins is 72, Mills is 76, so the calls in some corners for generational change aren't going to apply here if this clash of the titans emerges in the coming year. Collins has quite a voting record, a reputation for bipartisanship, which she loves to talk about. But what Mills is saying, and other critics say, is even though she defies Donald Trump now and then, voted against a couple cabinet nominees, for instance, on the other hand, she voted for the so-called Big Beautiful Bill, which was the big budget plan that passed earlier this year, which is sort of the root of the current government shutdown, the standoff over that. So Collins will be, in her own time, very well funded, and has proven to be a dogged campaigner. She loves to talk about all the money she's steered to Maine and Maine projects over the years, and now that she's chair of the Appropriations Committee, where spending bills normally go through when the government's open and functioning. She has even more power to do that. So you're really dealing with the two best known and some would say most accomplished Maine politicians, male or female, of their generation here in Maine. And certainly if Mills wins her primary, this 2026 race against Susan Collins will be very competitive. And no matter who faces Susan Collins, we know from 2020 this will be one of the most watched and most contributed to campaigns in the country. Back to you guys.
Yes, as Senator Collins' reaction to this, it's about to get interesting. Thanks, Phil, very much. And now here are a few things to know also about the 2026 Senate race. Governor Mills is the top choice of national Democrats to try to unseat incumbent Senator Susan Collins, who has held that seat, as Phil just pointed out, since 1997. Mills is being urged to run by party leaders, including Minority Leader Senator Chuck Schumer. If Mills earns the Democratic nomination and is then elected next November, it would make her the oldest freshman elected for a full term in U.S. Senate history. Mills will be 78 in January of 2027.
And Maine's primary will be held Tuesday, June 9th of 26. By our count, 8 other Democratic candidates, aside from Governor Mills, have at least publicly announced their intentions to run for the Senate seat. There's also an independent candidate who has announced an intention to run as well. The most talked about Maine Democrat besides Governor Mills has been 40-year-old oyster farmer and veteran Graham Plattner. He has received an endorsement from independent senator from Vermont, Bernie Sanders, and so far has raised more than $4 million for his campaign.
On the Republican take hit, incumbent Senator Susan Collins will, of course, be considered the front runner. Collins has been serving as one of Maine's senators since 1997. She is the longest serving Republican woman senator in U.S. history. And again, as Phil pointed out, she never missed a Senate floor vote in 29 years on the job. That's nearly 10,000 votes. At least 2 other candidates have publicly announced their intentions to run on the Republican ballot. Democrats need to flip 4 Republican seats to regain a majority in the U.S. Senate. All right, Todd, how about a look at this weather forecast here?
It's going to be a cloudy, a raw day. There are going to be a few showers from time to time or some sprinkles out there, but we are once again avoiding substantial rainfall, which isn't far away. It's down in southern New England, but you can see there are a few blips of green on the map over Maine. It's cool out. Temps are in the upper 40s and lower 50s. Up north, it's a whole lot colder. Holton, for instance, is just 28. So this large storm continues to swirl off of the East Coast. It brought flooding to southern parts of New England, and it brought some coastal flooding to the mid-Atlantic and Carolinas. We're actually seeing some really large waves in the Gulf of Maine, and there are high surf advisories up and down our coastline. There are like 10-footers out there, so that's pretty impressive. Over the next few hours, it will be cloudy, it will be cool, it will be breezy, there'll be some spotty showers. Some sprinkles are possible during the middle of the day and even at the end of it, but by and large, we're not looking at anything substantial out there today, just the clouds. Later in the evening, after the sun goes down, we'll see some partial clearing and the wind will settle a little bit, but I do expect the wind to freshen up tomorrow again. Scattered showers and sprinkles this morning. A few may linger during the middle of the day, and then it's just mainly cloudy in the afternoon and evening. It'll stay brisk from start to finish with highs in the upper 50s. And a quick look at the 7-day. Over the second half of the week, it gets brighter and brighter, but it does turn pretty chilly. We're staying in the 50s there, especially on Thursday. And then over the weekend, it looks good right now. Mix of sun and clouds, and we should achieve 60 again, or maybe even a little higher than that, especially on Sunday.
All right, let's get some few more news stories before we get to our talker topics of the day. The Food and Drug Administration has approved another blood test to help find out whether or not a person has developed Alzheimer's disease. The FDA has okayed this test. It was developed by Roche Diagnostics with the help of pharmaceutical company Eli Lilly. Officials say the test is geared towards adults 55 and older who might be showing signs of cognitive decline. It works by testing for high levels of protein known to be associated with Alzheimer's. This is the second blood test that the FDA has approved to help detect Alzheimer's.
All right, it's a horrible disease. Anything we can do to advance, medicine around it is important. It's one of those tough things, though. We've talked about this with the genetic testing available now, if you really want to know or not. Yeah,
that is an interesting dilemma.
Yeah.
and something to think about
Yep.
a lot.
Yep.
Like what you're predisposed for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Like, do you want to know, especially if it's something that there's no known treatment or cure for? Like, is it better to know, or is it better just not to know and live life?
Yeah, this topic hits home. I mean, I've talked about this many times, so I don't need to get into it deeply again. But my father has Alzheimer's, and he's only 75 years old, and it's moved along at a pace where he's not driving any longer. I talked to him on the phone. He lives out in Denver. I am trying to finish his sentences for him a lot of the time, or help him come up with a word that he's trying to think of, and it's tough on all fronts. From his point of view, like, he knows he has it, and it's frustrating for him. It requires a lot of patience, for his loved ones, especially my stepmother, who's kind of the primary caregiver for him. But he was involved in a study where he did get a lot of the brain scans, and he does have the genetic profile done. So as a family, we know, those genes that he has, and I, at the very least, have one of them. So I have already an inclination.
Oh, you already know that.
I already know that I have at least one gene.
Okay.
I don't know my mother's side. She may or may not have that in her family. Her father passed away at a young age in his 50s, so we don't know about her father. But her mom maybe had dementia, and she passed away in her 80s. Had a little dementia at the end, but it wasn't Alzheimer's. So, hopefully there's no gene passed to me there. But I could have genetic profiling done on myself. I just don't know that I want to know, because it, A, doesn't guarantee that you are going to get it.
One way or the other, right?
One way or the other. And B, so say, like, I know that I've got, a high chance. Basically the ways to combat it are, good sleep. Okay, that's not happening on this shift. Eating well. I do eat well, except on weekends. I let loose, but whatever,
Right.
I think during the week I eat very well.
Balance.
Exercise, and no alcohol. So, I do a lot of exercise. I'm very active. I do have alcohol in I do consume it. So I don't, you'd make decisions on, do I want to sacrifice what I enjoy doing at this age for, a chance to live brain quality of life later on.
Right, with no guarantees.
With no guarantees.
No, because
Yeah.
it happens both ways. My grandfather had Alzheimer's for the last 5 or 6 years of his life, and that's a long time, and it's hard. It's very hard. My father never had it. His daughter never had it. None of my other family members have had it or have signs of it. There's no prostate cancer anywhere in my entire family's history. I did get it.
Yep.
So, it's you can. I'm not saying caution to the wind, but everything with a grain of salt. And do you want to know? Do you know? I mean, if it's something, specifically genetic that you can test early for, that you can maybe at least get a heads up on. Like, so now that I've had prostate cancer, all of my boys are going to have prostate cancer tests when they turn 40, because I'm going to mandate it. Usually it's 50. Well, now you have a family history.
I feel like that's
so
a little bit different, though.
It is
That's
different.
testing
unless
for
it's
the
that,
disease,
right. So unless it's that.
Right.
So are you having your boys change their, is there, like, their diet?
There's nothing.
Do they consume
Prostate
caffeine,
cancer has nothing
alcohol?
to do with any of that.
There's nothing that will, that escalates the chances of
I
getting.
won't say nothing. I mean, none of my kids. You'd have to be an excessive drinker for a long period of time, and it's possible there'd be like I think it's a 4% higher chance.
It's not
of
a very
prostate
high
cancer.
chance.
So
that's what the studies have
basically
shown so
no,
far.
but yes, if you abused something for sure.
So studies don't really. There's no like.
No, because when my PSA was getting tested and it kept going up, I go, I'll cut out red meat. He's like, no, that's colon cancer. I go, oh, all right, okay, well, I'll do this. He goes, this is not dietary. You're not doing anything. You didn't cause this.
Right.
It just kind of happens. I'm like, oh, that stinks.
Yeah,
so,
it does.
But with that, we'll have a heads up on it.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's different.
Right, that is different. That is because it's knowing ahead for early detection as opposed to
Sure.
sort of knowing that there's a chance, and then there's a chance, and then there's a chance, and then there's
So
a chance.
did you guys ever weigh in on that? I don't remember this topic. Did you weigh in on whether you'd want to know or not?
Yeah, we talked about
we
it
did
at
talk
length
about
one
it.
day, probably when you were off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think for me,
a
not.
hard no.
I'm a
Hard.
waffling no.
Yeah, I'm a hard no.
I think I'm the same as
Yeah.
you, a waffling no. If I knew for a fact, like, okay, I'm going to get it or I'm not going to get it, I think I would probably choose knowing it.
Right.
But if it's not going to guarantee one way or the other,
if there's
it's
no
just going to
definitive
say like,
way.
okay, you have these two like
Sure.
your
You have a
chances
higher
are 50%.
possibility. Right.
I don't think I'm going to change the way I live my life.
Right. Right.
Because I enjoy my life right now. I enjoy the quality of my life right now. And even at the age of 70 plus, do I want quality of life then? Yes. But is that quality of life like mostly in the house, you know, like watching shows like anyway because you're just naturally aging? Heck, I could get hit by a car, or I could have a heart attack, or something else could take me out. There's no guarantee that Alzheimer's is going to be the thing that gets me.
Right. Right.
You know, like I
Right.
might not live that long. You might not live that long. We might not live that long to get to that point. So
Oh, I'm living that long, but that's a whole
Hopefully.
other story. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my mother's 82, has never sat inside of her house for more than 5 minutes. So your quality of life will be just fine. I'll make sure
Yeah.
I get you out. I'll come visit, I'll come visit
you're
you.
gonna come wheel me out?
get you out of there.
You're gonna wheel me out, huh?
I'll challenge you to something and you'll get right up.
Oh, that's,
That's right.
right.
There you go.
Wheelchair races.
Don't think that's not going to happen.
Oh gosh, I can see it now. All right, this is super interesting, I think. There's a new debate stirring online about what the rules should be at a grandparent's house. I love this. The online discussion started after a mom posted on TikTok saying that she believes whoever is watching her kids can make their own rules for them as long as they're within reason. I guess that's the problem, right? Like, how do you define that? But anyway, she says she has boundaries on what's acceptable, but she isn't sweating the small changes. Some people in her comments agree with her, but others say it was too lax of a position. So the question circulating is, should those watching your kids follow your rules, or can they be allowed to make their own? All right, let's
that's
quantify this a
different
little
question.
bit. Yeah, let's qualify this a little bit. Let's keep it to the grandparents.
If it's just the grandparents,
Yeah.
that's different than a babysitter.
Yes, totally,
Not
100%.
trusting a 17-year-old to make up
To
free
make their own rules, right.
Versus my parents.
Right, right. So let's keep it on the grandparents because that was the main impetus for this. So when your kids are, I don't have grandkids.
Yeah, none of us have grandchildren yet.
And my kids' grandparents didn't live close enough that they spent time with them alone. So
Okay.
I've never personally had to confront
this
this
dilemma.
which it's always different when you personally have to deal with something than what
Yeah.
you sort of suppose you would do in any given situation. But
I think it's case specific. I mean,
Yeah.
if grandma's, strapping baby to the roof rack and driving down the road, hey, maybe put him in a seat. But if they're giving them chocolate after 9 o'clock, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't do
Exactly.
that. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, the parents have to suffer through raising you. There
Right.
should be some benefit to being a grandparent where they get to spoil
Yeah.
the grandchild to make up for all the pain and suffering you put them through as your child, as you being their child.
yeah,
So.
I think it's definitely case by case basis. There
Sure.
are some grandparents who can't be trusted with the children anymore. Even if they did raise you, it's definitely case by case. But assuming we're all fairly reasonable people, I agree with this TikToker that the rule of thumb is that the grandparents get some leeway.
Absolutely.
Because you know what? The benefits of children spending time with a good grandparent who has more patience, right? They have more time in their day to focus on the child and patiently teach and walk
Yeah.
them through things and shower them with love and affection. And then if they spoil them a little bit on top of that, who cares?
Well, that was one of the big
right?
draws. I mean,
100%.
God bless my grandparents, but you go to their house, it's going to smell like Jeanette. It's going to smell,
There's gonna be the little
they're
bowl of hard
older.
candies.
They don't have the
Yeah.
internet. You got the Werther's butterscotch thing.
100%.
But they're going to spoil you. And so,
Yeah.
you don't want to be afraid of going to grandma and grandpa's
Right.
because they're older and they
Right.
don't want to go outside and play baseball, but you're going to get those cookies and
Yes.
you're going to get to stay up a little bit later.
That's
and,
what's special. You create
Yes,
an intimate
you have that
relationship
bond. I used to love
with a
that.
grandparent.
Knowing
And
that
time
was going to happen.
slows down at grandparents'
Yeah.
houses.
Yeah.
It's a calmer, gentler energy, generally speaking.
The only time we did have some some issues with the grandparents, with our parents, my wife and my, like our parents, when they were watching the twins. Like when they were as newborns, like twins they're usually underweight, obviously, because they're sharing a belly, right?
Right.
They're sharing the womb, so they're trying to catch up on weight. It's really important with twins, in our opinion, and from our case study, to have a pattern and to have
Like
schedule.
a regulated
a regulated
for feeding,
schedule.
for
Thank
sure.
you. You know, like they would nap together. We wouldn't, if one woke up, we would wake the other one up so that they stay on the same schedule. Because right then they're going to get a diaper change and they're going to get fed, and everything happens at the same time. Otherwise, if there's just like, okay, this one wakes up, this one's still sleeping, okay, this one come on out, and then you're in the weeds all the time.
That makes total sense.
So when the grandparents would watch them, they didn't handle it that way. And we had to be like, guys, you've got to stick to the schedule.
It takes you days to
you've
get
got
back
to
on
do it
track,
together.
too,
It's
once that
really
Right.
hard early
Yeah,
on, those
100%.
first 6 months, when they're trying to just catch up to the rest of the growing chart, like that kind of thing. So that was the only issue. It was like the first 6 months. But once they got through that and they caught up on weight and started sleeping through the night and things like that, it was fine. And they can do whatever they want. You want to put a little bourbon on their gums because they're screaming, go for it. I mean, I don't know that you can do that anymore, but I'm sure they did that to us.
They did that back in the day.
I know. I
and,
heard
and people
stories.
survived
There was
it.
no orange gel.
No, they didn't have
We
orange
call that
gel.
Jack Daniels.
Right.
Exactly. Right.
You know what? Stop crying. You're welcome.
right.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That was the only problem that we had early on.
Yeah, that's overcomable. Like, did you finally
Oh, yeah.
talk them into why it was so important?
Yes,
Were they
but,
able to come around?
but they still, I mean, to an extent, yes. I
Okay.
mean, it was never perfect, but whatever. It's fine.
Okay.
Everything worked out.
Being able to have them watch them, did that offset it a little bit to give you a little bit of a break?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that
it was
huge.
worth going through a little bit of a
Absolutely.
schedule issue with
Absolutely.
them. Yeah.
Yes. To be able to sleep in, like a morning, and to get a home cooked meal, that kind of thing. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're in survival mode at that
Correct.
point.
Oh, am I supposed to read this?
Yes.
Oh, good.
What do we
This
got?
one's for you.
It's the 15th time we've done this story. It's
my
a
gosh.
great day because it's Be Bald and Be Free Day. This is a day meant to celebrate all people who embrace the low maintenance hairstyle and encourage people to not be afraid of this look.
Oh, I'm petrified of it, Goldie. I see you and I run.
I shaved my head, I shaved my head in high
ouch.
school.
No, I mean, that's a silly comment. I mean,
I literally gave myself crew cuts in high school. So
no kidding.
never been a fan of hair.
No?
No.
Don't you feel as though bald is embraced way more now than it ever used to be?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like guys for a long time, like the comb overs and the toupees and the hair plugs and the I feel like for a long time that was like the one thing that
Yeah.
guys were super self-conscious about. But then after like Telly Savalas and
The Rock.
The Rock,
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis,
Willis,
yeah.
yep.
They kind of led the way to the bald is beautiful,
I can't tell you. I've
mentality.
spent 5 seconds ever thinking about my hair.
Really, because we used to tease you back in the day about how you had the perfect hair.
Well, I used to have it, but then I didn't want it anymore.
It's way easier, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
your
would-
shower must be
I
like
would-
3 minutes long.
I would shave it every day, but I think every week I'm like, hey, gotta go.
Yeah, yeah.
There's still maintenance
It's
involved.
annoying. I hate it.
Yeah. It's not like
It's
it's.
getting long right now.
I mean, if you're completely bald, that's one thing naturally, but that doesn't happen for most people.
No,
Right?
Yeah, right. I think
Yeah.
No, my hair grows, and I have to
the
cut it
sides and the
all
back
time.
are like almost
Yeah.
So it's
always
annoying.
going to be
You
there.
still have to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, today is also the day to celebrate your sweet tooth. Seems like we say that like every day
Yes, I
because
do.
today is National Dessert Day, so it's very broad. From cakes to cookies, ice cream, the possibilities are pretty much endless. Today is the day to stop by a local bakery or restaurant, or maybe if you have extra time, make a treat for yourself at home. Did you guys grow up having dessert after dinner?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And what was it normally? Do you remember?
was a lot of different things. Mostly a lot of ice cream. I recall that. Yeah, like Oreos and baked goods when we had them in the house.
Brownies and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
brownies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my grandmother
yeah.
made brownies a lot. My mom still makes an unbelievable coffee cake. I'm trying to get her to like make one a month, and so I can
Sell
freeze
them?
them. No, I want to freeze them.
Oh.
So then when she's gone, I'll still have them. I thought that was kind of an endearing. She doesn't seem to like this idea.
No,
So,
no, that's it. I'm not sure.
You were planning to buy like an extra freezer
Well,
to
how
put
you
it.
were
yes.
You were just
selling
gonna
that.
stock it up.
She makes a great coffee cake.
Do you
so,
know what kind is it?
I have no idea.
You don't know.
Nope, never asked how she does it, but however she does it, it's great. She made my dad used to love this, like a lemon cake, which was also really good. Brownies, yeah. Ice cream, a lot.
Yeah, a lot of ice cream.
And so, have you continued that in your own families? You have dessert.
I have dessert every night.
We do
Every
not.
night?
No,
You don't have dessert every night?
no,
No.
no. I would say probably.
The kids don't.
Nope.
Oh wow.
I would say probably not even, maybe once or twice a week.
Will they have another snack after dinner? Like what time do you guys eat dinner?
There's always a last snack.
Okay, what's the last snack?
It's
Like a
never
granola
sweet.
bar or
It can't
something?
be a sweet. So
Like
it,
chips?
It could be a chip. It could be fruit. It could be popcorn. It could be granola. It could be
Cereal?
They like these the hazelnut. I guess this is a
Oh,
sweet. The
yeah,
hazelnut Uncrustables. They
Oh.
make those now with hazelnut instead of the peanut butter.
Yeah,
instead
like
of the
the
jelly.
why am I spacing on
The-
that
the
chocolate
Nutella
Italian?
or
Nutella.
whatever?
Yeah, it's like a
basically
Nutella.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's
they-
actually
yeah, they
that's
do those.
legit.
But it's sweet. But yeah, and we found healthy chocolate cereal.
Uh-huh.
It's called Nature's something is the brand.
Yeah.
So it's organic and it's more of a rice.
Oh, I know exactly
But
what
they
you're talking
but they
about.
don't know. It's called Mother's something. Anyway, they don't know that it's good for you. So they cream chocolate. Yep, you can have some chocolate. cereal. So, yeah, but no, we don't do dessert. Not on purpose. It just my kids don't really. I mean, they'd have candy 24/7
Yeah.
if we let them.
Yeah, we didn't really do dessert either
Yeah,
when
it's
my
just not a
kids were
thing.
growing up. But I will tell you that I do crave a little something after dinner.
Do you have like a thing like a go-to?
Well, if I have a little bit of like dark chocolate in the house, I'll have a little piece of
That's
dark
what you have,
chocolate,
yeah.
or I'll make like an avocado pudding, which I really love.
That sounds
How are
good.
you making avocado? Like what do you put in it?
it's
Obviously avocado.
Avocados, coconut milk, chocolate protein powder,
Oh, cool.
cacao powder, so it's more of a dark
Yeah, yeah.
chocolate.
Do you add any
maple
any
syrup,
sweetness?
maple
Should-
syrup.
maple
Well,
syrup.
and there's sweetness in the protein powder also.
Okay.
A little bit of maple syrup, a little bit of cinnamon, and I think that's it.
That sounds pretty
And
good.
it's so good. And the thing of it is that like it's so
kind of filling.
because
Yeah.
avocados are so filling
Yeah.
that all you need is like a little bit, and
Right.
it completely satisfies you.
That's
What does
cool.
it taste
Yeah.
like without the avocado? Just pudding.
Chocolate milk.
Okay.
It's not very good.
That sounds good.
It's really good. I'm gonna make it for you guys sometime.
No.
And I know you're not into it, but I'll have
You
you,
wouldn't
taste
even know
it.
the difference,
You can be the
probably.
taste tester, but you don't do chocolate really, right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, but it's so sweet.
good.
I mean, it's a dark. It's not like a super sweet
Yeah.
chocolate. You just don't like sweet.
No.
Right?
You can have mine.
No, he likes white chocolate. That's the sweetest of all. That's not even chocolate.
It's not chocolate.
Yeah.
So good.
All right.
Desserts can really be a great way to celebrate National I Love You Day.
That
It's
was in
today.
February 13th. What?
That's the 14th. by the way.
14th.
Wow.
Whatever. My brother's birthday.
When did they change Valentine's Day?
Well, my brother's birthday is the 13th.
That's only been in
and I've
place for
always-
5,000
I've always
years.
mixed them up.
Well,
for
better
life.
that you think it's earlier than later because
Yeah.
you know.
Who's luckier than Rachel?
Yeah.
I celebrate
I
her
know.
Valentine's Day, July 35th.
My brother's birthday is the 13th of February. I've always flipped them around and messed them up.
Golly.
I get it
Love
right
You
when
Day
when we get to the
is
day.
today. So you're supposed to encourage people to share your 3 special words. I love you. With the people who mean the most to you. This is unlike Valentine's
Oh, look at the
Day,
cute couple
which
there.
celebrates
So
romantic
cute.
love.
Oh, look at this beautiful family.
Today is meant to extend love to everybody, not just the person that you're in love with, love. So it's meant to highlight the importance of telling others how much they mean to you. So something you want to say to us?
No. Nope.
That was
See
predictable.
you on February 13th.
Well, I love both of you.
Oh, shut up.
And I'm not too proud
You
to say
stop it.
I do.
Okay.
On Sunday
I don't
night.
know why, but I do.
Yeah, I know. That's the question for the ages. And not to change the subject, but to change the awkward subject here. On Sunday night, the Chiefs helped to make the game more special for one members of Chiefs Kingdom. Blake Bowman Jr. was crowned the Kingdom champion ahead of the Chiefs matchup against the Lions. It was part of his request through the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Blake had a severe heart condition that required him to get a heart transplant, but now he has overcome that obstacle and is making the most of every day. So he got the chance to stand on the field in Arrowhead Stadium, plus meet some of the players. Blake's father says it's a moment they will, of course, never forget.
Amazing experience, and we're so grateful to the Chiefs organization as well. They have been incredible hosts.
Probably forever. If I have kids, I'm going to tell them this story.
Blake even got to meet Chiefs legend Gary Spanny, who says that they help make wishes like Blake's come true to provide hope for those who need it the most. That is